First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone here today, and I'd also like to thank Mary and her team for organising it. It's a great format so that the people in this community can see who the candidate is. Before I start, I think it's an ideal time.
Not that he thinks he's going to knock it off.
Right, I've got one on. But I think it's a good opportunity so that the people here can see who the candidate is, and then we'll move briefly on to the 7 priority projects. Just to let everyone know a little bit of history of Bruce Young. I'm a local boy. I was born and bred. I was actually born in Mount Morgan. It's been a level of criticism there ever since. My father was a copper and has been a copper right up until his retirement in the early 80s. And he served in the force for 35 years. I did a trade as a diesel fitter. I moved into Hastings Dairying, the Caterpillar people, and then moved into BHP Utah, where I worked up through the ranks, workshop foreman, and then became an equipment manager, and then moved back and became the equipment manager for a large transport company, as we know as now as Toll, but they were Carpentaria. So that's a bit of history on Bruce Young. I now run cattle, but I just want to put it to you why I'm standing. And the reason that I'm standing is, as a proud and passionate Rockhampton boy now living on the coast, is that for 20 years now I've looked at Rockhampton as to where we're going, and we go up and down the coast and we look at all of the infrastructure out there. And there's a good analogy, and someone said to me, Bruce, there's a cyclone happening out there. Everyone is going at 100 miles an hour. Mackay, Gladstone, Emerald is 100 miles an hour, and as if we're stuck in the eye of that cyclone. One of the things that's happening in this part of the world is that nothing's happening. And why is that not happening? And I can put it to you that it's through poor representation. This is one of the things that Rockhampton has struggled with. It has been poor representation. And it's not as if the stars haven't been in alignment. The stars have been in alignment. Now, we've had 2 state members and 1 federal member with no dialogue, no plan for the future. And this ultimately is why we are here today looking at these 7 priority projects. And I'll just let you know from the outset is that the LNP are support and committed to all of them. We'll look at the format later on, but let's just get a couple of things straight. If you look at the figures out there now, and you haven't got to be a Rhodes Scholar, the LNP hypothetically will form government. One of the things that I want to fight for is Keppel's fair share and also Rockhampton's fair share. One of the things that we need to do, and one of the things that I'm passionate about, is the erosion of health services in this area. 29 years ago, my wife worked at the Rocky Base Hospital, and this is how it impacts on us, because you've got to remember the money comes into this region. 29 years ago, we had visiting medical officers in the name of specialists. Now, back then we had an eye specialist who did cataract surgery. How does that now impact on this area? Is that we don't have in Queensland Health, Queensland-wide, 1 eye specialist that does cataract surgery. How does that impact on families? And that is that if that person can't see, they have a fall, they wind up in a nursing home, high priority care. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the impact of families. Well, I just want to touch basically on state debt. And I want to be very quick about this, and I'll use the Western Australian analogy. In Western Australia in 2008, Alan Carpenter and Gordon Gallup handed over the reins to a Liberal by the name of Colin Barnett. Over there they had zero debt. Zero debt. In Queensland 2008, we had $65 million debt in forward estimates before Cyclone Yassi, global financial crisis and the Brisbane floods. We're now at $85 billion debt in forward estimates, and we've sold $17 billion worth of assets. So that's where we are. The best outcome for this region, and lots of people are saying it, is that we need to change the government. And we need to go for an LNP government because they've got the history of managing the economy financially. And you'll find that when the LNP is installed, you'll find that these 7 priority projects of Mary's and the rest of the team will happen. We all know what we need a football stadium. It goes without saying. Every city up and down the coast has a convention centre except us. So I just want to thank everyone for that, and just get a bit of clear understanding as where we went, where we're at and where we're moving forward. Thank you.